Oh, ding, ding, you guys. Ding, ding. It's another time.
Let's freaking go, baby. That's all I'm saying.
Yes. And we got a really fun show. So ever since we kind of decided we were going to revamp the way the show works, we've knocked around quite a bit about what we want to do. And tonight's, it's funny is I go through and I do the banners, right? And I didn't have one up. I didn't actually do one for this, but here it is. Top 5 factions of all time. Y'all may ask yourself, 5 seems like a little. We kind of realized that if we tried to go 10, it actually became a little too difficult.
Yeah, we could have probably went 8 and been okay, but I like 5. It leaves room for.
Five's a nice. It's going to cause a good debate.
It does. It leaves room for debate.
There's going to be some serious debate.
Real quick before we start, I want to thank everybody that watches, that listens, that subscribes. Speaking of subscribing, if you're on YouTube right now watching us live, please go smash the subscribe button and then hit the like button too. And then also send in your damn comments. This is going to be a fun show. We want you guys to interact with us. So if you have factions if you have your top 5, send it in now. Get ready. And then we'll go over it later in the show when we're done with ours, or hell, maybe in the middle of ours. I don't know. Sometime we'll go over it.
And I want to say too, if you disagree, bring the smack talk, man. Like, I'm not going to lie. It's not promoting or anything like that. But my other podcast is, Adam knows, is a Colts one. And we actually had some ballsy Seahawks fans get on my live stream yesterday and talk a ton of shit. So if you don't like our list, that was so much fun. I want to do that. Did you
see me come on and say Adam Raymer, baby?
I did. I popped it up, man. Of course I did. I saw it.
Raymer, baby.
Adam Raymer, baby.
Just, I can't tell you how excited I am for that. Just real quick. First of all, his new entrance music, theme music, is downloaded to my phone. Second, I have watched from All Out. I have watched the ending of that, I guarantee you, 15 times.
Oh, yeah.
It may be more. When have you ever seen a double debut?
We did.
Yeah. When have you seen a double debut?
I think it's one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time.
Just because of the debuts.
I mean, you don't see, we talked about it the day after. You don't see those kind of things, those back-to-back. So,
no.
But we kind of felt like that's kind of how we ended up on this topic a little. We had done returns, and that was a blast, and that was kind of an homage a little bit to CM Punk coming back. And this one, in all honesty, is the greatest factions because your boy Adam Cole has now said the Elite is the greatest faction of all time. No chance in hell. You pointed that out to me that he said that.
Yeah, that's why they're my number 1, or are they?
Oh, well, if you look at the thumbnail on YouTube, man, I threw up some. Did you know the Four Horsemen had a legit logo?
Yeah.
Totally didn't realize it. Definitely looks like it belongs in the 80s, but it's on the thumbnail.
That's because that's when they were good. What's up, Justin? Appreciate you getting in here. Get your top 5 factions of all time ready. I know you're going to have them.
Yep, we'll pop you up. There you go, Justin. There's my man. Okay, so you want to start this off, man? You got anything else you want to talk about real quick before we jump into the factions? Any kind of breaking news? I think the only wrestling breaking news, and we've not discussed it, is that it seems that Buddy Murphy and Braun Strowman are definitely headed to Impact at this point.
I did see too. I mean, it's all but confirmed that Ric Flair's going to AEW as well.
We have to talk about this really quickly.
Okay.
Have you seen the news? This pertains to your boy. Have you seen the report from Wrestling Observer about what WWE wanted to do with Adam Cole?
Oh my God! Yes. Oh my God!
People, baby.
I don't even want to go over it because it makes me so damn mad.
You want me to say it?
Yeah, go ahead. Because
it makes him so angry. So apparently, the plan for Adam Cole that they pitched him, they were going to pay him $1 million, which was a great contract. They were going to move him up, and they were going to turn Keith Lee heel and make Adam Cole his manager, a la Leo Rush to Bobby Lashley.
excuse me. Now, first of all, I'm not going to get heated, but Adam Cole doesn't belong as a fucking manager. Not
No.
one bit.
Not at all.
Okay.
The only other thing I was going to say, too, is obviously Wrestling Observer released their top wrestlers. I don't have a problem with anyone but the fact that fucking Bobby Lashley's in the top 5.
Jesus, you mean stiff ass?
How
Two
the
by
hell?
four plywood.
He's above. Oh, it's just no. Okay, we'll move on. Okay,
All right. Guess what?
You want me to go first?
I want you to go first. So we're going to do this kind of like if you guys watched last week. It was pretty fun. We got a little countdown here as Steven gets ready. He probably he didn't know he was going to go first tonight.
I didn't know you were going to make me go first.
Do you have your banner
we're
ready?
We're surprising each other, you guys, too. We're typing these in.
Yeah. Here's our list.
Here we go. Yeah, mine's like right here.
Are you ready to go?
Okay. You want to hit? Are you going to hit the pick is in?
I got you. You ready?
Okay, man. Really quickly, I love that fucking graphic. It's so much fun. I hit it sometimes when I'm not even live. Okay, so my number 5, Evolution. Okay. I'm going to say this. My top 5, when I start looking at it, when I started really breaking it down, had a lot to do with the people in the top who were in those factions. What did they do while they were in there? What did they go on to do because of they were being part of this faction? Obviously, Evolution, Randy Orton, multiple-time world title holder. Triple H, multiple-time world title holder. COO, prayers out to him. Obviously, he had a heart surgery done recently.
Mild infarction.
Mild, yeah. Ric Flair, obviously greatest of all time, and Batista, multiple world title holds. They're lower on my list because they didn't stay together a lot. I didn't like. So once Randy Orton won the title, and that was it. They just kind of dismantled. I loved kind of the flamboyant nature of it, and then behind the scenes, you hear like that's what got Ric Flair his mojo back in the WWE was being part of Evolution.
Yeah, funny fact: Batista wasn't actually supposed to be in Evolution. It was Mark Jindrak.
And he didn't look good. He acted stupid, and they said that the behind the scenes said Triple H saw where he rubbed off like his stupidity necessarily on Randy Orton, and they knew they could see it at that point in time that Randy Orton was headed for big things. So Evolution, it could have been higher. I think it could have not been. I've got one that's right there too.
Yeah, look, I love Evolution. And are they in my top 5? I guess you'll have to find out here in a little bit. But if you look at who was in that group or in that faction, it's probably minus Batista. Not that Batista wasn't good, but Randy Orton, like 14-time champion. Ric Flair, 16-time. Triple H, I know he's in double digits. I don't know exactly how many. I think it's maybe 11 or 12, maybe more. I don't know. Those guys, and the one thing that you said that struck it right was Ric Flair was down in the dumps before this happened. And it, again, like you said, revitalized his love for pro wrestling, the WWE, and love to what he did. That group, again, you are right. It didn't stay together long. The way they ended it was okay with me, though, like how it happened. I just wish that they would have made that last a touch longer than what it did, because I think it could have been way more dominant in that era than it was. I mean, it was dominant. I mean, I think at one time they held like every damn title there was.
They did. They were tagged. What was it? Batista and Flair were tag champs.
Yep. Triple H was the
Orton.
Triple H was the big daddy world heavyweight title.
And then Randy Orton had something too. I can't remember what. Maybe it was U.S. title,
Intercontinental. I think
Intercontinental. So they were holding all the gold at one point. So I mean, it was a solid one. I mean, that's why they come into my top 5, man. But there's reasonings behind why they're where they are as I start to unfold my lovely list. So you are up now. Are you ready?
Yeah. I am ready. Go ahead. Hit the button.
Okay, Adam.
Okay,
My
so
pick is still scrolling. Let's see yours.
it is. It is. This might shock some people.
Whoa!
I went with the Shield. It's pretty high for them, I think. Or it might be pretty low for some people. Maybe you, Steven. It might be low for you. I don't know, because I don't know what your fucking picks are. But they're probably not in the top 5 for you. And I'll tell you, I don't do that because I don't want to know. I'll tell you why they're in my top 5. One, Seth Rollins became a huge, actually, all of them became huge stars. But together, dude, it for what, 5 years? Somewhere around there, 5-6 years.
Yeah.
They were untouchable. Unfucking touchable. I liked them as heels better than when they were. I think at one time they were a face. I mean, I don't know if you would consider them faces, but
The Hounds of
I look
Justice.
at it too. Yeah, I look at these lists, these factions that we're doing as who was in the group, what were they before the faction was created, and what are they now? Because honestly, none of mine in the top 5, I'll give something away. None of mine in the top 5 are current factions. 0 of them.
One
Zero.
of mine is.
0 of mine are current factions. So I looked at it as who was in it, what did they do after their faction was dismembered, and what they were like together as the faction. And I don't think in that time, and even if they were still together now, would there be somebody that can hang with them? Not one bit. Not right now. In WWE. In WWE, I don't think there's somebody that could hang with the Shield if they were all still together.
Yeah. No, I mean, so without giving away, they're on my list. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with everything you said. That's them is looking at them is a kind of how I shaped my overall a little bit with the fact that it depends on how you did before, how you did during, and then for me a lot of it was, did you springboard from that? Did you springboard from did it let you go to the next level?
Yeah. And every one of them held a WWE title, world title. After that faction ended, every one of them held it. I think twice or more, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if Ambrose won it twice.
I don't think Ambrose did. I think he won it once. He carried it for a little while.
Okay.
But I don't think he
we'll just put it this way. They held multiple championships too. I think maybe won a couple US or Intercontinental. I mean, I know Ambrose had the Intercontinental Championship and the US Championship. Reigns, same thing. I know Rollins. I'm pretty sure Rollins did because I'm pretty sure he's a Grand Slam.
He is a Grand Slam. He's held everything, including NXT.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he was the inaugural NXT champion.
It's a little down the list. I actually was going to put them 3, and I swapped it late. Actually, I swapped it at about 7:30 tonight before we got on. So
interesting.
I went. I don't know, man. I got a reason, and you'll see why in a minute. But I don't know what else to say about the Shield, dude, except for at that time for 5 or 6 years, they were probably the most dominant faction I've seen since some of the people that I'm going to name.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good pick. It's a good pick. I won't give away that, but they are on my list somewhere.
Okay. We're going to go.
Hit my button, man. I'm ready for my number 4.
Well, hold on a second. Let me get our pick.
Okay, so I think this one's going to cause some stirs. I really do. Coming in for me, number 4 is DX.
Okay.
The Triple H version. The Triple H version. We're talking because that's the one. Like, okay, you have for clarification, you have two forms of DX. You have the original, which was Shawn Michaels, Triple H, in China, right? You had Shawn had to retire. Triple H had to remake himself. That's when it was Triple H, X-Pac, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn. China was still in there. So I mean that's the version I actually prefer. That's the one that I look at because you had Triple H, who really sprung forth to stardom right there. Boom. You had China, who that's also when she kind of really came into her own. I believe when she was with DX is when she became the first female Intercontinental Champion. You're holding something up. Go ahead and I'll finish.
Can everybody read what my number 4 is?
Oh, it's DX, baby. Triple H. It's a great one. It is. I mean, and then you had probably still to this day one of the most over and one of the coolest and one of the most dominant tag teams in the New Age Outlaws. I mean, they were untouchable. They were. I mean,
that was
so cool.
That was probably one of the most fun times in WWE when that was created.
They had no restrictions.
Zero.
Dude, they were doing the crotch chop by spitting water. You know, I mean, it was.
And you look at that again and how we said what was going to happen and how we kind of picked ours, and look what happened to. Now, you can say that Shawn Michaels and Triple H were already pretty successful before that group, in a way. Do you think Road Dogg and Badass Billy Gunn would have been as successful if they weren't in that faction? Hell no. Not 0%.
No, look at them afterwards. Yeah. Look at them both after. Yeah. That is a bad example of the springboard to success. Now, Billy Gunn, he did get a push for an Intercontinental Championship, which The Rock famously squashed him by calling him the wrong name. But they wouldn't have. But the other thing too is think about this. Like this is with this particular faction, it didn't matter, man. I mean, their music was Road Dogg coming out talking. The crowd would go berserk. They would go along with it, and they were so cool, man. It was such a cool time to be a wrestling fan at that point too.
And just the gimmicks that they pulled off too, like making fun of Vince McMahon, you know, and everybody, they would wear like funny costumes and make, you know, do impressions. And then when the bell rang, as Adam Cole said, you know what they did make me special? They rang the freaking bell.
And all they did was win, dude.
And all they did was win. Fucking win, bro. Like all the time.
One of the best tag teams probably of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah. That's good. That'll probably be a show. We've talked about that before.
Tag teams, that's a tough one to pin down, though. 10 didn't almost feel like enough, but too much. It was hard.
Yeah, I think we'll probably do 8 to 10, though. I think we will on a show. But I echo everything you said on that, man. What propelled them? The only thing, China. Got in a Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? Like, it was just...
China won a men's title.
She did. What was it, the Hardcore?
That would be another great show.
Yeah.
Top 10 female wrestlers of all time.
We can do that, too. We got
there
plenty.
Will be no fabulous Moolas.
Can we put Eva Marie in there?
No.
Can you put
She's
Nia
number
in?
11.
Can you put Nia in?
No.
On top 10 worst.
Do you know how many videos, not to go down a rabbit hole, you know how many videos I've seen of Nia Jax now needing to be fired? How much money we could have made on the fire Nia Jax shirts? We would have been out front. We've been out front with that shit. Everyone wants her gone. The best thing that I've seen so far about that, not to go a rabbit hole, but is the fact that they said it was Charlotte who got stiff first. She was just like when she had her in a headlock, she was choking her out.
Yeah.
And that's why Nia got pissed and slapped her in the face. The only thing with Charlotte is Charlotte cannot physically overpower Nia. You know what I mean? But Charlotte's one of the few women that could get Nia fired.
Oh, 100%. I did see something, not another rabbit hole, but we mentioned something. I saw something about Kevin Owens' contract's up in January of 2022.
2022, yeah.
And if he's going to stay or go.
Dude,
So,
I've seen a lot of things because apparently, unbeknownst to me, he has a relationship with the Young Bucks.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
It's called like Mount Rushmore. Was
Ring
like
of Honor?
A group. I think it's Ring of Honor, maybe even prior to it.
Yeah.
But he has some sort of relationship with the Young Bucks, and that's
okay.
I've seen that, but they've also popped up a couple of different people who are their contracts are going to be expired. Keith Lee's another big name that people think is going to head to greener pastures, aka AEW.
Did you see that video that Mick Foley put out?
No. What did he say?
Basically, he came out and said, WWE, no pun intended here, you're in fucking trouble.
Oh, Jericho said in the next 2 months, AEW will beat WWE in the ratings.
He said that
consistently.
Mick Foley said, if I was a young talent, why would I want to go to WWE when I could go to AEW?
The question's never been quality. It's going to be consistency.
Yeah.
WCW was able to do it for, 83 straight weeks, but then it was the quality dipped and the consistency went away.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an AEW guy through and through.
Mm-hmm.
I love everything they're doing.
Yeah, I do too. It's starting to come along to me now.
Well, yeah, your boy's there now. Adam Cole, baby.
Bye.
There. You can actually watch an actual wrestling show.
And mind you,
and see Adam Cole now. Although he got his ass whooped on Wednesday.
He will be wrestling next Wednesday.
He will be wrestling next week.
Yes. So
he will. All right. That'll be awesome.
Hit the number 3.
Okay, you ready?
Yep. And then hit my...
You doing yours?
Yeah, hit my music. I don't know what people are going to think about this, but I'm going to go with it. And
ooh, I like it.
It's number 3 on my list. And you can't go wrong with any version of NWO, but I'm going with the Hollywood Hulk Hogan version, right? Not Wolfpack, because I did like the Wolfpack too.
I hated the Wolfpack.
I liked them.
The red and black. Too many damn NWOs.
Name the original members of For Life.
There was only 3.
Exactly, but name them.
It was Hogan, Nash, and Hall.
Okay. Success. Obviously, Hulk Hogan's one of the GOATs of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Nash, a.k.a. Diesel, was pretty successful. WWF then. And Scott Hall was pretty successful, a.k.a. Razor Ramon.
Oh, yes. I love Razor Ramon.
But when Hogan came out to that music with his black beard and still had his blonde mustache and kind of Fu Manchu, and that faction was created, I had a hard time not putting them number 1, honestly, because 1, it was so fucking shocking to see Hulk Hogan as a heel.
Yeah.
Would you ever have thought you would have seen Hulk Hogan as a heel?
No, and I never would have thought
he
would
your vitamins
as well as he did.
That's exactly what I was going to get to too. I would have never dreamed of that, or like you said, how well that he played that role. And they were all big dudes too. They didn't have a little, you know what I mean? Those guys are all freaking. Now Hulk Hogan shrunk like 4 inches, I think, since he.
Well, that's what 17 spinal surgeries will do to you. Fun fact, he only has 2 vertebrae. They're just all fused.
I want to hear your thoughts on NWO because you were a bigger WCW guy than I was. But
so jokingly, like I said earlier, was that it's like all the other, some of these factions, they had different groups.
Mm-hmm.
The original NWO was Hogan, Nash, Hall. And then you kind of started drifting a little bit. I was okay. You added like Ted DiBiase who came in there. What is it? Six Pac? What did he call himself when he was in WCW? I'm trying to remember. X-Pac in WCW, whatever it was.
Six Pac.
Yeah. And then you had Bischoff. I think I like it when Bischoff came into play because as a fan who loved Sting, loved the good guy because you're a kid, right?
Yep.
Hated the NWO so much, but loved them. It was the coolest thing in the world. And you hated they had like the inside man, which was Bischoff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, revolutionized the entire wrestling industry when they came in. Now, as it drug, I hated the Wolfpack. I hated when suddenly you had fucking Buff Bagwell as a member of NWO, or some people you don't even like. Conan was in there, and
isn't Buff Bagwell like a male escort now?
I think he's in jail possibly because of that. But like, I hated when they started adding all these people, and then it split off, and you had the white and the black and white and the red and black, and it was like, which side do you like? It just got really convoluted.
Mm-hmm.
But the fun thing for me, like mentioning what you said, is how it came to be with Hogan coming out as the third man.
Yeah.
If you watch documentaries, he talked about, he's like, if we do this right, I may not make it out of the arena.
Yeah.
Like, if we do this correctly, I may not make it out. And then he was adamant too. It had to be him.
Mm-hmm.
There was no one else you could bring in as the third man that was going to have the impact that Hogan had turning heel for the first time ever. I mean, ever. Eat your vitamins, go to your prayers. Now suddenly he's Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
And it was just cool. He brought the black spray paint out and spray painted them, had the belt spray painted. They were just cool.
Black and white vignettes in the back.
Yeah. I mean,
it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was a great time to be a wrestling fan. It was a great time to be a WCW fan.
Remind me, Justin threw his top 5 in here, so we need to
Love it, Justin.
We gotta go over that at the end of the show. So, are you ready for your number 3?
I am ready.
All right, here we go.
Hit my music. Okay, so my number 3 is a little higher on the list than yours. I got the Shield.
Okay.
I got them higher because the dominance that they had. You went over all this. The dominance that they had as a team. But then just the dominance, like that's what what that faction was what a faction is supposed to do. It launched all 3 of them into superstardom. Seth Rollins is a Grand Slam champ, and he's married to Becky Lynch. Roman Reigns is the most dominant champion in WWE right now, and he's the most dominant champion they've had in quite some time.
Yep.
And Moxley was a champion in WWE, and he was a very dominant champion in AEW. Still is a huge draw, which FYI, I don't know if anybody else caught this. He has left the door open for a return to WWE potentially down the line.
He's also married to me. He's also married to Renee Paquette.
And he's married to Renee Young. Yes. So like it launched these guys. And the way they came in too, during a main event to jump one of the competitors, right? Ryback, the big guy. They jump him and immediately establish that they were there. I mean, and then the way it ended. Like, I would have loved to see it last longer. But the way that it ended, too, with him turning heel and him turning his back on them. And then, dude, just let's be honest, too, a great faction is when, like, you can roll those son of bitches out again and you get goosebumps. Like, I can get slight goosebumps thinking of the it comes to me is when the Miz is like the rumors of the Shield reuniting are just
who said anything about rumors?
Who said rumors? And then it's just out comes Mox.
Yeah.
And then burn it down, out comes Rollins. And then the fists come together and you're like, oh, dude, this is so freaking cool.
Not to mention
that staying power.
I hated the way, I didn't mention this before when they were my number 5, but I I didn't mind the way it ended the first time. You can say 2 times because the second time was kind of getting them back together. They knew Moxley was leaving, or Ambrose then.
Yeah.
I hated the fact because it was it not the same night that Roman Reigns had to relinquish the title because he found out he had leukemia again?
Yeah.
And that's the same night. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think they wanted to do it.
So I thought that for a long time. But Mox has done an interview where they talked to him about it, and they said that it was presented to them. Do you want to do it tonight, or do you want to do it on another night? And they said the storytellers and them knew the impact would be greater on a night like that.
Yeah.
So supposedly they made the decision, but I think we all know in the end too, the ultimate decision is if Vince wanted them to do it, they were going to do it.
Yeah.
They weren't going to be able to tell them no.
Right.
But I hated that. It was such an emotional night with him coming out there and him having to relinquish because of leukemia and everything, and then you turn him on that night, and it left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths.
It was just very emotional. I remember watching that night, and I'm not ashamed to say I cried when that shit happened with Roman Reigns, dude. It was very emotional. Like, he was telling truths, like his real name, and
which nobody does.
No.
If they bust out the real name, there's an issue.
Shawn Michaels isn't going to come out and say, my real name's Michael Hickenbottom.
Well, no, that's a horrible real name, too, though. The Noah family is like world renowned.
Yeah. So
can I be an honorary Noah?
Yeah. Tribal chief. You want to be the tribal chief, man?
No.
I'd like to be Adam Raymer Bebe, though.
You are Adam Raymer Bebe.
But yeah, let's talk about one more thing about the Shield. How badass their entrance was.
Oh,
they came.
I think of the WrestleMania one
through the crowd.
Where it took them 20 minutes to get to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
They were going through MetLife Stadium, and it took them forever to get to the ring because it was so fucking big.
The match lasted. The entrance was longer than that match was.
Oh yeah,
it was great.
It was awesome. I mean, coolest entrance since, in my opinion, Edge and Christian's original one where they were. I loved when people would come through the crowd. It was just the coolest. Okay, you ready for your number 2?
Yeah, pop the number 2. And hit my music.
Hit my music.
This is probably going to blow people's mind why I have them here. You're going to be shocked.
Evolution.
Now, this goes to why I said who was in the group, okay, and what these people did before, during, and after. Every one of those dudes are Hall of Famers, obviously. Every single one of them. I mean, Ric Flair's already a 2-time, and now he's probably going to go to AEW. Hell, they might even put him in an AEW freaking Hall of Fame.
Hey, really quickly, question for you about Evolution. Are they in as a faction in the Hall of Fame yet? Have they been inducted yet?
I don't think so, because Flair went in by himself, and Flair went in with the Four Horsemen.
So, okay. I couldn't remember.
And then Triple H has went in with DX. DX went in. So Shawn Michaels is by himself. And I don't know if there's many 2-time. Booker T is one of those. He went in with Harlem Heat and himself. I don't know if there's many 2-time, you know what I mean, Hall of Famers.
Hogan is a 2-time.
NWO.
Himself, and then he went in with NWO.
Well, that means Scott Hall's a 2-timer then.
Yeah. So is Kevin Nash.
Because I think he went in as Razor Ramon too, and Kevin Nash went in as Kevin Nash.
Razor Ramon.
That's still one of the greatest characters, I think. Have we done that? Have we done that yet?
Greatest characters?
Like greatest persona, you know what I mean? Like,
no.
That might be a good one too. That'd be a good one too.
Like
we need to write this shit down. Anyway, back to my number 2. It might be shocking to some people that I have them at number 2. But again, I looked at it as what did they do afterwards? Not so much with them, because this was a little bit later than any of these besides the Shield. But these guys were already established. Not Randy Orton. Randy Orton really surged up after Evolution. I mean, he became the youngest world heavyweight champion after that. Obviously gone on to win. What is he at? 13 or 14, I think now. Triple Crown. Triple H. You don't have to say anything about Triple H or Ric Flair. Honestly, and if there's a weakest link in that, it's Batista, but only because he didn't wrestle as long as these guys. You know what I mean? Like, but how dominant they were, and two, how we pointed about it revitalized the Nature Boy to come back to his love of pro wrestling. I mean, look at Triple H looked a little chunky there.
Well, if you notice too, this is what we were talking about earlier when I talked about on my list. They're all holding belts.
Yep, they're all holding gold.
For those who are watching on YouTube, they're all holding belts.
They're all holding the gold. You know, Ric Flair was older then too, and still looked good. Every one of them, minus Batista, maybe, was good on the mic. Not that Batista was bad, but Batista reminded me of a younger Roman Reigns who wasn't real good on the mic when they first started. And now, and now Roman Reigns is good on the mic because he kind of keeps it shorter, and doesn't try to do. There's not many people that can do a long promo. John Cena's one of them. He can. The Miz can. Punk can do it.
Minutes. He did it recently.
I'm going to tell you right now, and not to go down a rabbit hole, but I'm going to for just a second. There's one person in professional wrestling right now that can cut a promo better than anybody I've seen in a long time. Can you think
of
talking
like a new person?
Kind of.
Like you're not talking about Punk.
No, I'm not talking about Punk.
AEW or WWE?
AEW.
Well, we know it's not Jungle Boy because he never talks.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Kenny Omega does
1.
great.
MJF.
MJF is fantastic. MJF went after Brian Pillman Jr.
Went after his dad.
Dude,
went after his sister.
His mom, Methany.
Yes, Methany. Went after his pregnant sister.
Dude, it was bad. It was bad. I'll give you that. We literally watched a video of MJF keeping his heel character off.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. Happy birthday, you piece of shit. You old piece of shit. Heard you got a dog. Nobody gives a shit.
Heard you also like, what do you say?
Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball. You like Dragon Ball Z?
No, I hate it.
I hate Dragon Ball Z.
So does everybody else, you piece of shit.
Kami, go fuck yourself.
Dude, that was
totally didn't mean to go down the rabbit hole, but that was a great.
Yeah,
that would be another great topic right there too. If you guys are in here and we're spouting topics, y'all drop them in too.
Yeah,
drop in if you guys like something.
Yeah. So we've already talked about it. You talked about Evolution. I talked about it's. I know it's weird. Do you think it's weird that I had them that high?
No, I toyed with it. I just like the people I got above a little better.
I had them there legitimately solely on who was a part of that.
Yeah, that's why they were on mine. But
yeah.
That's also why they weren't together a really long time.
I bet I know your number one. And
let's go to my number 2, shall we? Hit my music and I'll tell you what it is.
He said, hit my music and I'll tell you what it is. I hear the music. Okay.
My number 2 is the New World Order.
Okay.
A little higher than yours. I mean, some of these are always going to feel a little bit similar.
You were one ahead of me.
Yeah. But, 3 original.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where it is. That's now, if you look really closely at this picture, this is in WWE. You can see it, you can tell that it's totally WWE. But they single-handedly changed the way wrestling was.
Mm-hmm.
They single-handedly raised WCW up above WWE
Yep.
and made them a true threat, if not better at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And they single-handedly made the one thing that is damn near impossible to do, which is made Vince McMahon shift and say, I have to become edgier, and thus the Attitude Era. That's all because of the NWO. 100%. The NWO changed WCW and changed WWE all in one fell swoop. That's why they're up so high. And they're all three Hall of Famers.
All three are multiple time Hall of Famers.
Like we discussed earlier. I mean, and they made it cool
to be
bad. To be the bad. Like the NWO was everywhere. Like they had their own pay-per-view. Everyone rocked the NWO shirts. Like it was cool to like them.
Nobody
hated them, by the way.
Yeah.
Because I was a Sting guy.
I hated them, but I loved them. Nobody made it more cool to be a bad guy than Razor Ramon.
Oh. I mean, going even back to when he was Razor Ramon.
That's what I said. Razor Ramon.
Razor Ramon.
Chico. Yeah, I like it. I like your pick. I'm very anxious to see your number one. But real quick, because we did this last week, I'm going to throw Justin's top 5 up before we put our number ones up. So Justin had number 5, The Shield. That's what I had. He had 4, Evolution. Is that what you had? You had them, or you had them at 5, didn't you?
I had 5, Evolution.
Okay. 3 is the Heart Foundation. Like it. I actually really like. They were my honorable mention. I actually I had 2 honorable mentions. They're not my number 1, but 2 is NWO, 1 DX Triple H version. Honorable mention outside of Bullet Club. That is a very good one. You know what's funny? I just want to show everybody this. There's my honorable mentions.
Honorable mention: Bullet Club and Heart Foundation. I like it.
So
I mean, one of my honorable mentions was the Elite. Heart Foundation is a really solid one. That's a great one right there.
Yeah, it really is. Justin, that's a good list, dude. I mean, you can't go wrong. I like the fact that he put the Heart Foundation in his top 5. I mean,
I do. You notice that you look at this list, you look at ours.
Eerily similar,
but also not really any current ones. You know, you don't have the Elite in here. But when you think about it, like I'll tell you one that I toyed with, honestly, because the impact that they had was the Wyatt family was in my mind.
Yeah,
a little bit. Not now. The reason they didn't is outside of Bray, nobody really made an impact when they left. Braun eventually did, but he's gone now too. They're all gone.
Well,
but the gimmick of the Wyatt family was so freaking cool.
Well, Vince McMahon fucked Bray Wyatt.
Well, yeah.
Every time.
Every time he'd get over, he'd squash him. I mean, the other thing too is like when you look at AEW, I love AEW.
Oh yeah.
I don't have like the Dark Order's not really there. The Elite could be potentially eventually in this, but AEW just doesn't have a lot of factions. You know, you have the Nightmare Factory.
Yeah.
But that's Cody, that's Dustin, and then truthfully, that's a bunch of people that we don't know who they are yet.
Jurassic Express, AEW.
But is that a faction or is that a tag team?
I don't even know who that little dude is.
He doesn't wrestle. He just runs around and hype. He's like hype man. It's like Beetlejuice. That's a good list, man. That's a good list, Justin.
That's a really good list, actually. I like it. Are you ready?
Yeah, you want to go and then I'll go.
Yeah, because you told me before we started tonight that your number 1 was going to shock me and people.
Shock the world.
All right, go ahead. Hit my music. There's no doubt in my mind This is number one.
The Four Horsemen. It's solid, man.
Name a faction before them.
There wasn't one.
Exactly my point. What dude, I got goosebumps right now thinking about their music. Like, I'm not kidding you. If you guys could see my arm here, it is standing up and I have goosebumps. And it was just the freaking horse. Like, you know what makes me wonder about what not makes me wonder, but I legitimately remember the Four Horsemen when I was a kid. One, it was my grandpa's favorite group because they didn't have groups back then a lot. But Ric Flair is the GOAT. Tully Blanchard, and I'm talking original Four Horsemen now. I'm not talking about even when, Dean Malenko came and Chris Benoit came. I know I'm not supposed to mention Chris Benoit's name in wrestling.
Mongo McMichael.
Yeah. I'm talking Barry Windham. You know what I mean? Like 80s Four Horsemen, dude.
Was Pillman ever part of them?
They were. He was.
He was when he was in WCW for a little bit. Yeah.
And the reason I picked them, and it's not because Arn Anderson, I didn't pick them like I picked the other ones as far as how they were before, how they were during the faction, how they were after. Because not that Arn Anderson was bad. Ric Flair was the only one really that kept going up. Tully Blanchard, was the main. Arn Anderson, I think, maybe won a couple of tag team titles. But Ric Flair made that faction. That's a great logo too, by the way.
So 80s.
So fucking 80s, bro. Like the spacing in it is. It
kind of looks like something I made on clip art. It looks like it belongs in the Max at Saved by the Bell. And I say all this so lovingly because the Four Horsemen were so freaking cool.
Justin threw up a comment. Another honorable mention I debated in the top 5 was Undisputed Era.
That's a really solid one too.
That is. I didn't even have them down because it was too new for me, I think, and I was pissed off at WWE for what they did to Adam Cole. So, that was a great faction though. Undisputed Era. I don't know what else to say about the Four Horsemen. If anybody's ever watched pro wrestling, they should know who the fucking Four Horsemen are. That's it. That's all you had to do is that right there. It strategically, I don't think that this was known. It was going to happen, but it led to factions being created. Yeah. 100% did. It led
to make a great point. Can you name one from before them? No.
I can't.
They're the first faction ever.
I'm trying to think of who was even like who was the next one? Nation of Domination.
Oh, good Lord.
Heart Foundation. Probably the Heart Foundation.
Heart Foundation, maybe the closest to it. The Mega Powers were a tag team, not a faction.
Yeah. So I think
it's a while.
I think it catapulted the wrestling world into creating factions and making those guys, and those guys legitimately were like friends. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't know.
Traveled together, flew together,
everything. So,
Arn Anderson and Ric Flair are probably the closest you can be.
Yeah, they really are. And I think Scott Hall and Kevin Nash are like that. I don't know if anymore, but I know they were. But I don't. Arn Anderson and Ric Flair to this day are like inseparable. I've seen videos of them.
Yeah.
So I went, like I said, I had to go. Number one was Four Horsemen. I don't even think the Four Horsemen are your number one. I think I know your number one. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to give it away. But can I say what I think it is? And then if you don't have to say anything.
Why don't you hit my music and then you can guess?
Okay. All right. I'm going to hit your music and music.
Okay. Who do you think it is?
Who do I think it is?
Yeah.
I think it's the Hart Foundation.
It is not.
Okay. I was just thinking that because of Bret Hart.
Well, I love me some Bret Hart, but I purposely have not clicked on the banner tab so I can see what yours is.
So I'm waiting for you. What the fuck?
The Bullet Club.
Are you serious?
The Bullet Club is my number one faction
Of all time.
of all time.
You're telling me right now, hold on a second. I'm not going to disagree with them being in the top, but you don't have the goddamn Four Horsemen in your top 5?
I do not. I do regret that. I felt here's the thing.
You felt forced. It felt forced to put him in.
It felt forced, and it felt too easy.
Yeah.
It felt. I knew I could put them at number 1. I could put them anywhere in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do something different with my top 5, which is kind of funny because I felt different, but I felt like we actually had a lot of the same minus this. Here's my reasoning behind the Bullet Club.
Justin puts a comment, well, that one even surprised me.
You're welcome, Justin. Here's my reasoning behind this with this. So the Bullet Club has been around like forever at this point. Mm-hmm. And when we talk about when we started talking, and I was very specific when I said this, was that who was in it and what happened to them afterwards, right? What happened while they were in it and what happened after they left. So when we did our pay-per-view and I said that AEW was better, I read some names. You remember, like I read the roster names?
Yep.
I'm going to give you guys, for those who don't know, just a little rundown of members at some point or another, members of the Bullet Club. Okay? Mm-hmm. Adam Cole, AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes, Doc Gallows, Frankie Kazarian, Hangman Page, Jeff Jarrett, Kenny Omega, Carl Anderson, and Finn Balor.
Luke Gallows.
And that's not even all of them. Those are the most prominent ones. Every single one of those guys have gone on to hold major titles in some other promotion or in New Japan Pro Wrestling where the Bullet Club has originated. And FYI, as great as the NWO is, Too Sweet is not NWO. That is Bullet Club.
Yeah.
You're talking like the roster of the members is otherworldly deep. And that's what sold it for me. I mean, this is a faction that still exists right now.
It does.
You know, you even had, I can't remember his name. Justin, if you occasionally watch Impact, help me out. It's like Sling Blade or something like, or Switchblade. He's a member of the Bullet Club, and he has shown up now in Impact, and that was a big deal. Members of the Bullet Club, if they go somewhere else, it's a big freaking deal.
Yeah.
That's why they're number 1, man.
I don't hate it. I'm just shocked.
You didn't think I'd pull that one out, did you?
No, I didn't. I did not think you were going to pull that out. What I'm more shocked about is I know you said it was forced that you didn't have the Four Horsemen in the top 5. I'm more shocked. I'm actually more
Justin Jay White.
Yeah, Jay White. I'm more shocked at that than I am the Bullet Club, because if you get down to the nitty-gritty on that, you are right. The people that have been in that, just the ones you name, that there's more. There's more.
Well, I completely forgot because it's tag team. The Young Bucks.
Yeah.
Probably one of the greatest tag teams of all time and one of the greatest current tag teams.
Yes.
They were members of the Bullet Club as well.
I don't hate it. I'm more pissed. I'm not pissed, but more shocked that I don't know why I can't get over the fact you didn't have the Four Horsemen in there.
Well, like you said,
it did.
Like when we created this topic, when we talked about this the last couple of days, I had to, I'm going to be honest, like I had to talk my way out of not having them in, because the other part too was I knew you would.
Yeah.
So I knew we would be talking about them. And I hate when we're too similar.
Did you think I would have the Bullet Club in my top 5?
No. I did not. I was actually a little surprised when I saw Justin had it. This is number 5, because and Justin watches a lot of wrestling like we do, but there's a lot of people who aren't aware of who the Bullet Club is. You know, because it's a mainstay in New Japan and it's never really found its way here. Members obviously have, but the Bullet Club has originated in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Yeah. But then you just start digging in and you're like, holy shit, man. Like, look at the amount of people who were in this faction at any given time. And it's not like they weren't in it together at times.
Yeah.
This is where Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks met.
Mm-hmm.
This is where Adam Cole met them. Like this is where they formed their bonds that they have right now. It's just insane.
Yeah.
And it was hard for me, but like I said, with the Four Horsemen, I knew you would. I wasn't sure where.
Yeah.
But I knew you would, so we would talk about them. And I, as a wrestling fan, it's easy to put them number one. As a person who's trying to put content for you guys to watch too, I want us to be different at the same time.
Yeah. I'm also shocked that you didn't have the Hart Foundation in yours. I thought
they were right there. They were.
Because I mean, Bret Hart was one of your favorite wrestlers.
Oh, best there is, best there was. Best there ever will be.
So
I love Bret Hart.
All right, brother, hit him with our outro.
Oh, you want to just okay? So if you like it, if you like what you hear, if you like, with the content that we've put out, tweet about it, subscribe, follow, tell a friend, however way you want, Instagram it, Facebook it, however you want to. And if you don't like it, Adam, tell them what they can do.
In the immortal words of CM Punk, shut the fuck up. We're out.